Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Hope you're all doing good. So we're here today to talk about the email marketing necessities for 2021. I'm Annette Matthews, and today I'm joined by Sushmit Sen, my colleague. We both are the product marketers with Zoho Campaigns. So this webinar will go on for almost like 45 minutes, and after which we will have a question and answer session at the end of the webinar. So if you have any queries, you can ask them. In between also, if you have any queries, please feel free to put them over to the Q&A box that is there at the top left corner of your screen. We are joined by our support team member, Avinash. So he'll be answering all the questions for you. And before beginning the webinar, I'd like to inform you that you will be receiving a recorded version of this webinar in a couple of days' time. So once again, thank you and welcome to our webinar. Now let's get into the agenda for the day.
Hello, everyone. The agenda for the day is email marketing necessities for 2021. And this time in this webinar, we'll be talking about all the features that have already existed in email marketing, but how they can be used in a better way or maybe in a bit of a changed manner in order to fetch more engagement in the year 2021. So this webinar has been divided into 4 sections. The first section is going to talk about strategy, where we'll talk about collecting of data from where the entire email marketing process begins. The next is content, which talks about, the design and the content element that is there in the email marketing, and which also takes into account that how much it is fetching engagement at the end of the day, or how much it is relevant for the email recipient. Third is management, where we'll talk about how emails can be managed, or email marketing can be managed both within the system as well as with the people outside. That is internal management as well as external management. Lastly, we'll talk about analysis. This will talk about the evaluation of email campaigns as and how it is done, and how it is important in order to make sure that there is smooth email marketing throughout. So keeping the things into account, all the things that we have talked about till now, we have taken the example of an imaginary company. Over here it's Zilker, and Zilker talks about tours and travels, because tours and travels has been one of the industry that has faced some amount of changes over the past year. So Jane from Zilker Tours and Travels wants to say something. She says that last year they had to face a lot of problems, and which were brought about by the uncertainties, which is very evident that it will, and it might have left people confused with their work. Email marketing is no different in that case. And however, she says that keeping everything into account, what happened last year, this year is a year of change, and the changes should be accepted, and email marketing should be adapted in accordance to these changes. So let's take a look at how Zilker planned their email marketing procedures for the year 2021. First and foremost, as you can see in the diagram here, it shows people from people not being uniform in their tastes and preferences, not being static. At the same point of time, they're very dynamic. So this means to say that the entire process begins with the aspect of collection of data. Collection of data might sound very easy, but it is definitely a tough thing to do, especially now, because email marketing has taken a more virtual step now, because conferences and other forms of meetups and all these things, these have been happening more virtually nowadays because of certain restrictions. And so virtual mediums have opened the avenues for sign-up forms and pop-up forms, and their importance have been realized now more often And this has also led to another thing, that is segmentation, that already existed. But this time, segmentation can be done in a clever manner, clever in the sense in a more effective manner, so as to understand if the email recipients are interested or they are not interested. But this can be done in a more subtle manner this time. And engagement should be done based on the data that will be received during this period of time. Since I already talked about virtual medium taking the center stage, so as you can see in the image on the left side, that manual data collection is not happening nowadays. There were problems with manual data collection. For example, it was like invalid email IDs, and then typos in collection of email IDs and names and other details. Those things used to happen. Those things won't be much of a problem in case of virtual data collection, but there are other pros and cons associated to it. Nonetheless, virtual medium has opened the way for two mediums that I've already said, or other, I should say, two entry points: sign-up forms and pop-up forms. With sign-up forms and pop-up forms, what you can get is, I will give an example to you. I'll show an example. Here in the Zoho campaigns, as you can see, Zilker Tours and Travels had taken an example of a sign-up form. In this case, they have used a long form. Why a long form is used? Because long forms provide greater scope for inclusion of images and also information. As you can see, this is a preview. This is how it will look on a desktop or a laptop. And this is the view if the recipient is accessing this sign-up form via cell phone. So as you can see, the contact email is provided here, which is very basic. Most of the sign-up forms ask for that. Then the first name, the last name, these are also some details that are usually asked from the email recipients. Address is something that should be asked this time. It's because the address will let you understand whether the email recipient is from somewhere close to your area or far away from there. But this will also help you in gauging one more thing. You can ask the person, since Zilker talks about tours and travels, they have provided two more categories called My Favorite Destination and My Preferred Destination. My Favorite Destination can talk about a certain place where the email recipient wants to go, and My Preferred Destination can be the place that the email recipient wants to go at that point of time. This is because in 2020 there has been certain changes, and so people might look into spending lesser, and it's the email marketers work to see to it that the content they are providing completely suits the needs and requirements of the people to whom they're sending it to. So in this case, My Preferred Destination can allow the email marketer to send out emails related to that particular destination if the email recipients want to go to that place during that time. And content related to My Favorite Destination can be kept in the, can be kept for later. And this can be segmented also in this case. You can segment the particular list based on the favorite destination that they wanted to visit, and you can send out email content to them after some point of time or after a time when you think it's suitable. And the address will also help you understand if they are interested to go for long trips or if they're interested to go for short tours. This is a very subtle way of checking it. Now, talking about sign-up forms and pop-up forms, I said how important it is for collecting data. There is other thing that is called surveys. Now, in case your sign-up form or pop-up form doesn't particularly talk about more fields that you can include there as criteria. If your criteria is less, let's say it's quite less, but at the same point of time you want to answer certain questions that you might have had during this time. In case of the destinations, you can also conduct a survey. Survey is not only important for the people who are coming into your brand as new contacts, it is also important to get in touch with the older contacts. In this case, you understand if there is any change in taste and preference, if there is any change in their requirements, And all these things will help you understand the customer, help you understand the contact much better, so that you can at the end of the day cater a more relevant content to them. This will fetch engagement, and with engagement and with familiarity, you will also get deliverability. As I said, new methods of segmentation can be done, as I showed in the sign-up form. These new methods of segmentation will also help you in understanding, and the data that you collect from them via survey, with that you can also understand what is the best sending time that you can use in this case to send out emails to them. Since many people are working from home, sending time is a bit tricky in this case. Earlier or previous to this, you would have known that a certain person might be available to check the emails only during the certain point of time during a day, but now that might not be the case. But a survey that is quickly run just prior to your main campaigns this year, you can understand what can be the best sending time that you can utilize. Based on that, you can also understand the frequency which you need to maintain in order to send out your emails. Frequencies also create familiarity within the recipients. If they know when they want to receive your email, and if they are familiar with that time, they will always expect an email from you during that time. And that familiarity is important for deliverability and also for engagement. And engagement leads to meaningful communication and conversation, which also leads to customer retention. Next, we will see more on content.
Moving on to the practices regarding email content. So nowadays, it's generally accepted that email continues to outperform its fellow channels. And one of the main reasons for this is because email is one-to-one. So it helps you to create a personal relationship with your recipients. And here, by personal relationship, I mean that your emails can be personalized in such a way that recipients are reading a private letter from you. Also, in 2020, as we all know, it was an year that reminded most of the marketers that there are real humans on the other side who are receiving these communications. So we were able to see a lot of empathetic emails being sent during 2020, and it has helped marketers to refocus on the type of content that we are sending. And we understood the fact that we are not, just there to sell the product, but also to hear what they also have to say. And all these things happen through email content. So first and foremost, while preparing the email content, you will have to always remember that someone is sacrificing their time to hear from you. So make sure that your email content is worth their time. They should be entertained and allowed to get involved and to get connected with you. For this, we'll have to try accommodating a few of the practices that are mentioned on the screen. So first, we'll be speaking about personalization, and then how to get better interactivity with recipients in order to grab their attention. And then we'll discuss about the customer journey with the brand. So let's get into the personalization tactics here. So in Jane's email content, she had used merge tags, dynamic content in order to personalize her emails. And she also tried attaching vCards to send out the email campaigns. And while sending out the email campaigns, she made sure that she used the send time optimization option so that it will be received by the recipients at the right time. So let's get to them one by one. So first is merge tags. It allows it allows the sender to add user data from a mailing list to an email campaign. And the most common example of a merge tag is inserting the first name or the last name of the recipient in an email. And this is done mainly because a reader is much more likely to open an email from you if you address them by their name. This helps to grab the attention of the reader, and it also helps you to build a personal relationship with the reader. So you can also add merge tags based on a company name, email address, and the list goes on. So here in the screenshot attached, Jane has used the first name of the customer as a merge tag. And here the email that she's going to send is about a vacation where she's planning to inform all her customers that she's organizing something, and she wants to know how many of them joins the the event that she's planning to conduct. So for that, she's just sending an email. And moving on to dynamic content. So dynamic content allows you to add a component to the email content that helps you to display the relevant content to your subscriber. So this happens when they match a particular criteria that you have set previously. So you can send unique content to each of your subscribers by just drafting one email based on the data that you've collected earlier from them. So here on the screen, you can find an example of how Jane used dynamic content in her email campaign. So she's prepared an email content for the segments that she created, where one segment name is solo and the next one is group. So she's planning to send emails to people who have opted for solo travel and people who have opted for group travels. So what she does here is she creates 3 types of email content, and then she drafts it in one particular email in such a way that a dynamic condition is set up in a way that if a segment name is solo, then that people would be receiving one email content, and if it's group travel, if the recipient have opted for group travel, then they'll be receiving another particular email content, and if they have not opted for any of these, then they would be receiving a general email content. So but all these things are in one email. So this is what dynamic content helps email marketers achieve. Yeah, so that's about dynamic content. And after doing all these things, you definitely wouldn't want your emails to get buried in your subscribers' inbox or get unnoticed by going to the spam folder. So one of the best ways that you could handle this is by asking your subscribers to add you to their address book. So it's always a good practice to leave a message like something like, please add us to your address book, and then attach a V-card in the email content. So V-cards, for people who are yet to know about it, they are electronic business cards and are also known as virtual contact file. So it's an attachment that is sent along with the sender's contact details. So if you add this merge tag in your email campaign, your contact details will be sent as an attachment. And in Gmail and Outlook, when a contact clicks on this attachment, you will be added as a contact there. So in Zoho campaigns, here in the screen, you can find a link that is used here. So merge tag is attached here as a link. And once they click on this link, you would be added to the recipient's address book. So if subscribers are adding you to their address book, it means that they trust your brand and they are looking forward to hearing from you. And that's not the only reason, but this will help you to improve your email deliverability rates as well. So that's about adding V-cards to your email content, which can help you to deliver messages right into their inboxes. And moving on to the send time optimization. We cannot expect the subscribers to just open the email whenever we send it to them, right? So what we can do is we can ensure that the emails are reaching at the right time in their inbox. For this, we can choose send time optimization so that we do not have to think or wonder about a best time to send the email campaign. So basically, send time optimization analyzes the previous responses of every recipient and delivers each email at the time when the recipient is likely to open it. So this is based on the past, the open time that your recipients opened the email. So that's about send time optimization. So these are the elements that you could try in order to, while you send out your email campaigns, so that you would get better, better engagement from your audience, or your emails will be seen by more people. That's about the personalization tactics. Next, we'll see the type of interactive elements that could be added to your email content in order to engage with the contacts. So after landing your emails in their inbox, if they are not engaging with you, then it means that your emails are nothing to them. I mean, it's the same as, not sending them emails, right? So email polls, surveys, and calls to action would be the most important elements that you could add in order to engage with your audience. So let's get to them one by one. First, we'll discuss about email polls. So here, again, Silker is coming to the picture where Jane is preparing an email poll for her recipients. So she's checking with her recipients whether they're interested in a group travel or a solo travel. And with this report, she will be able to create the segment. I mean, you remember the segment that was used in dynamic content, right? So all these can be, we can obtain all these results by using email polls. So in Zoho campaigns, we have 3 different types of polls included. They are rating-based poll, where you ask a question and let your contacts answer in the form of ratings. And the second one is response-based poll, where you let your contacts select the responses you have set for the question in the poll. And the third one is the reaction-based poll, where you can include reactions to discover what's in the mind of your subscribers. So that's about email polls. And the second most important element that you can add in your email content is survey. So this Sushmit already discussed about this. Right now in Zoho campaigns, you can integrate your account with the SurveyMonkey or Zoho Survey in order to send survey-based email campaigns. So this not only provides valuable feedback of your service, but it's also a great way to understand the pulse of your audience and to decide what you can include in your future email campaigns so that the audience would enjoy it. So that's about survey email campaigns. And yes, CTAs are the most important elements in an email. So choose the text that goes well with the content of your emails and design the button in such a way that the recipients would definitely click on it. So using the button component in Zoho campaigns, you can create a call to action button that redirects a recipient to a web page or a landing page, or it could be a blog or whatever it is. So once you drag and drop the component from the template editor, the properties will pop up and you can customize the button in the way that you want it to be. So that's about the interactive elements, adding interactive elements. Next is the email design. So we recently conducted a poll on our LinkedIn and our Twitter accounts to see what email marketers are thinking about the trends of emails in 2021. And this is the results that we got from the polls that we conducted. So here we find that people are giving more importance to minimalistic designs this year. And also people prefer HTML emails over plain text emails. Yes, so here are a few things that you can consider while you're sending out emails during 2021. First thing is dark mode friendly. And the next one is minimalistic and also responsive emails. Because we find a lot of people opening emails on their mobile screens right now, or it could be an iPad. So we find a lot of people opening in different devices. So in order to make them fit the screen, in order to make the email content fit the screen, you'll have to always go for responsive email templates. And in Zoho campaigns, all the pre-designed templates that we have are responsive templates. So you can use all of them so that it will get properly rendered in any device in which your recipient is opening the email. So first is, the dark mode friendly. As I said before, people are nowadays, Android is coming up with dark mode friendly themes, and iOS as well is already having a dark mode theme. So people are moving on to that. So a lot of people consider dark mode over the light mode or dim mode screen. So it would be great that if you use a template that goes well with the dark mode, an email that is friendly with the dark mode design as well. And here, minimalistic doesn't mean that you can't send emails with GIFs or with eye-catching images, nothing like that. It just means that you don't have to, necessarily do it, because most people don't send image-heavy emails to their, friends and families. So people accept these kind of, minimalistic emails. So that's about minimalistic emails. And responsive, I've already discussed. Next, moving on to the plain text and HTML. I'll just mention a few pros and cons of using plain text and HTML emails. So first, let me discuss about the pros of plain text emails. As I said before, it would appear more personal and gives a friendly tone to your email content. And you don't have to worry about your emails getting clipped. Also, nowadays, we find a lot of smartwatches getting released. And in all those smartwatches, it would handle a plain text better than an HTML email. So, and also plain text emails are less time consuming, and it's easier to read because there won't be any disturbances in the background. These are a few of the positives of a plain text email. And now moving on to the drawbacks. Definitely you cannot track plain text emails, and it will lack a visual appeal. And the call to action, which is the most important element of an email, it might not be eye-catching for people to click on it. So these are the drawbacks of a plain text email. On the contrary, with the help of HTML emails, you can achieve all of this. I mean, you can track the response of your recipients. Your emails would definitely have a visual appeal, and call to actions. Yes, definitely, people would feel like clicking and knowing what's inside it. So these are these can be considered as the positives of HTML emails. And however, there are drawbacks for HTML emails. That includes, if your email is having too many images, or if it's like very lengthy, then the chances are more that it gets clipped, and it might get blocked by some of the email service providers. And the alignment, it might or might not render properly on other devices. So all these things comes under HTML email drawbacks. And to summarize, we would say that it's ideal to send HTML emails with minimalistic designs for your recipients if you're sending out marketing emails. And if you're just informing recipients about an update, or if it's a single email, if it's a simple email just to inform them about something, or if you would like to personally get in touch with a few of your customers, then it would be ideal that you go ahead with the plain text email. So that's about the the email designs. Moving on to the next important factor while sending out your email content is to know about your customer journey and use email content to stay connected throughout the process. So for this, you have to use automated, you will have to use emails. A series of emails might be required in order to get in touch with them frequently. So for this, you will have to use automation. We all know that in our marketing journey, we have leads, prospects, and customers. And not everyone who joins our email list will be ready to make a purchase, or they'll not instantly sign up for a service. So email marketing always gives you an opportunity to capture new visitors' attention and nurture the relationship with the help of informative content. And while you use email marketing to nurture and engage the recipients, you can divide the stages into three. First is creating awareness in leads. The second is evaluating the prospects. And the third is converting them into customers. So if you see the screen, you can find the different emails that can be sent to your contacts in each of these stages. So whether you are an e-commerce business that sells products online, or if you are a retail store that wants to increase your traffic to your website so that you can bring more people to your store, email marketing campaigns can be of great help. So just as it's written on the screen, a few of the examples of automated emails include a welcome email to introduce who you are, what your product do, all these things. And then you can provide recommendations on that could be based on the prior buying history, or the related products that they could purchase, something like that sort. And you can also give out offers, discounts, and giveaways to particular segment of audience. And you can as well send reminders of subscriptions in order to renew subscriptions, or to buy a recently bought product if they want to buy another one, if they would want to try it out. All these things you can convey it through. All these things you can convey it by setting up an automated email email. So that's about the customer journey. Now let's hear from Sushmit on how to manage all these activities.
Okay, so email management, as I had already said, that email marketing can be managed, and it has two aspects to it. Number one, how you can manage your email marketing internally, and number two is how you can do it externally. When we are talking about internally, we are definitely taking into account things like teamwork, things like creating communication within the team and coordination, and then all such things, cooperating with each other, and then doing some work. Firstly, we will look into this aspect of calendar and how it updates the marketer. Then we'll take a look at how roles and privileges can eliminate confusion among teammates. Then we'll talk about campaign policy and how it is important to create consistency within all the email campaigns so that they provide a very uniform message, which also resonates the brand message at the same point of time, and also a tone of empathy that is required during this time. Last but not the least, we will look into how email marketing can be managed with the subscribers, with the contacts who are signing in and want to receive email newsletters from the email marketers with the help of automation. Firstly, calendar. Now, as we know, what does a calendar do? It basically updates people. Definitely it updates people. But when, let's say, there are 5 people working in a team and 5 of them work in 5 different aspects in one email campaign, in case of calendar, every single person in the team might be sending out email campaigns, but a calendar will update everyone in that particular team about that email campaign. It will lead to communication. Communication will lead to smooth functioning, which will also lead to coordination. Or you can say communication can lead to coordination, which will eventually lead to smooth functioning of the email marketing campaign. I'll show it to you in product. Now, let's take a look at email marketing calendar. As you can see, the campaign calendar here, your campaign calendar can be filtered in the case of campaigns, scheduled campaigns, campaigns in progress, and along with that you can have the holidays, which can be marked here, and the users' names will be provided over here. So in case if someone has marked a campaign and is supposed to send it out, in that case you will find that it features in any of these dates on which that particular person wants to send out that email. So that basically leads to updating each other and also giving, or rather paving way for coordination. Then let's take a look at roles and privileges. Now, roles and privileges, as the name suggests, definitely talks about the roles that can be provided to people that they can go ahead and perform. This will definitely depend on the performance and the capabilities of the people, the roles and privileges. This will lead to greater transparency in the sense, like in case of calendar, as it will update each and every teammate about each and every campaign going out. In this case also, roles and privileges will provide greater transparency in such a way that every single person will get to contribute in an email only in the place that the person is allowed to contribute. But that will nonetheless help, let's say, 5 or 6 teammates together send out a better email campaign, at the same point of time cutting down on miscommunication that might otherwise arise with unnecessary interference, and also confusion that can be led along with that. So transparency can be maintained. Efficiency in the internal management, as I said, if there is miscommunication, that is eliminated, then efficiency in sending out the email campaign with a proper message can be achieved. Last but not the least is time management. Less confusion, less miscommunication will definitely lead to less time spent on one email campaign. Now let's take a look at roles and privileges. As you can see, users and control. So in case of manage users, you can manage the users. In case of roles and privileges, you can see to it who are the users who can access these areas in a particular account. For example, regular and advanced campaigns, contacts, reports, and all these things. It needn't be necessary that all the people should actually get to access all these areas, because that might lead to confusion. But let's say if a designer wants to access, a designer can access let's say a workflow and take into account if a certain message has been designed properly or not, or the designer can also take a look at regular and advanced campaign and see if the design of the content is okay or not, and all these things so on. So this will lead to minimum interference but maximum transparency and efficiency. Okay, next is campaign policy. As you can see, that campaign policy needs to uniformity. You can get uniformity in content and design, keeping in mind that the brand message is kept intact. And also you can see to it that there is uniformity in the sending pattern as to the interval that you are going to maintain in between sending out email campaigns. So let's take a look at the product. As you can see that in case of campaign policy, there is email limits. In email limits, what you can understand is you have to understand what should be the interval between one email and the other email. You should do this keeping in mind that you shouldn't send out emails very frequently so that you end up cluttering the inbox of your recipients. And also you should see to it that you shouldn't send out emails after a very long point of time, because in that case your email recipient wouldn't remember you. So in email limits, it will be easier for you to understand that how many emails per week or per month should be sent out to your email recipients, so as to maintain a uniformity and also relevance and a tone of familiarity between you as well as the email recipient. Usually it is said that sending out 2 emails per week is the best option, but if you see that is somehow not working, then it's up to trial and error method. But again, if you want to start with a minimum requirement, then 3 to 4 emails per month is a good option. And if your sending out pattern works well, then you can also try 2 emails per week. That will also work well. Next, we'll talk about content approval. Content approval will help you understand and see that if there is anyone in the group whose content needs to be approved, can be approved. Content approval leads to creating of message, or rather sending out of message that completely adheres to the regulations of the team, and also to the guiding principle that is being followed while creating campaigns during that point of time. Content approval, as I said, will help you achieve uniformity in content and design. Some if a content is if an email is seen to have content which doesn't really resonate with the brand's message, or doesn't really have empathy and compassion in it, and if the design also doesn't lead to a very flawless experience, then in that case that particular campaign can be stopped. So that approval can be provided only if let's say a certain user needs that content approval, then that content approval can be provided to that person who is also a user of that campaign. Last but not the least, in this case, we'll take a look at automation and its meaningful use. But what does automation provide? Automation increases efficiency of the campaigns. In this case, because automation utilizes time and behavior. Why time and behavior is used, I'll show it to you. And also, automation respects the journey of a contact. As you can see that in the GIF beside, that automation is basically a network of elements that are placed together in a very constructed manner so that it leads to meaningful campaign creation. So automation increases efficiency of campaign because it is meaningful. Second, it is efficient because it utilizes time at maximum, and also the behavior of the subscriber or the email recipient is taken into account. All these things together will definitely let the email marketer create an email campaign which is meaningful and is useful for the email recipient. Now let's take a look at a workflow that was created by Zilker Tours and Travels. In this case, let's say Zilker Tours and Travels wanted to create a workflow. This is a workflow that I have created over here. So here, the workflow, the trigger point is basically the area from where contacts are allowed to enter a workflow. In this case, I have selected on-form submission. And I have taken the Zilker Tours and Travels sign-up form, that long sign-up form that I already shown. Now, with that sign-up form, what happens is anyone signs up that form will definitely enter this workflow. Once that person enters the workflow, the person will be taken to the next stage. And in the next stage, you can see that there is the process. In the process category, you will find actions like sending email, sending survey email. These things are very important nowadays. Sending SMS, which can work well in case of people who are using cell phones. A/B testing will also allow you to understand which version of the campaign works well, and all these things and so on. So in this case, let's say the people who have already signed up will be led to this workflow, and the first email that they will receive will be a thank you email that they have signed up for a certain newsletter subscription, and so you can thank them for that. But shouldn't stop there. Now, once you have thanked them, you also need to understand that there's a responsibility where you need to make sure that you provide them the basic information about your brand, and also educate them about what you are providing as services and products that you are providing in the brand. So in the second email is basically a welcome email where you also provide them some information regarding the brand. This is firstly to inform them regarding your brand. Secondly, to see to it if they are still interested in your brand. If they are still interested in your brand, then they will engage with your emails. If they engage with your emails, then they will definitely click on the CTA button that you will put there. I have provided, or I have rather used the response option over here. If you go to the response option, you will see that I have provided here as there will be two categories, one unresponsive, the second is responsive. In case of unresponsive, you can wait for, like here you can select the number of days that you want to select. It's up to you as per the criteria that you want to place over here. In case of unresponsive contacts, you can send out an email to them once again after 2 days. And in case of people who are responsive, you can wait for 1 hour and you can send out another email to them. Now, what happens is people who are unresponsive get another email from you, maybe similar to the one that has been previously sent to them. What happens in this email is they are again seen whether they're interested to receive email campaigns from you or not, because often it happens that someone might sign up for an email, sign up for newsletters or other things from you, but at the end of the day, maybe there is a change in taste and preference and in the interest level. That can be taken into account in this case, because that consistency in taste and preferences and interest is very important for your email campaigns to be successful. Now, if the person is still unresponsive, then you can also create this again. You can also create the response section once again. And if you see that they are still unresponsive, then within an hour, you can send them to this section, which will allow them to exit the workflow. You should do this in order to not send them any more emails, because more the emails that you send, if it is still not engaged, like if your emails are still not properly engaged with, then that will definitely give a very not a very bright picture in this case, and that can also lead to deliverability issues in the long run. But let's say to this group who has already received the email the second time, the welcome email, and they have shown interest regarding the email that you're sending, and you send them a third email this time saying more about your brand and giving them some other avenues of discounts and coupons and offers, this in order to help them make a better decision regarding their purchase and their choices that they make regarding your brand. What happens is, in this category, if the people have already realized that they want to get emails from you, want to get content from you, then they will engage with your email. If they have engaged with your email, then you can make both these groups of people who have engaged not that day, but let's say later after the second or the third email, and the people who have engaged immediately after the second email, I have used this thing called the merge component, and I have merged both these groups of people, and I have put them into another end of action workflow, which is to add them in a list. This list will definitely consist of all the people who are actually interested to receive email newsletters from you. Now, I could have easily done that from the process of on-form submission. I could have easily led them to this adding of list. I could have configured a list there, and I could have done it. But in that case, I wouldn't be able to filter the entire list of people in a good way, so that in order to make use of time and so in order to make use of time in this case, and also the engagement strategy and the behavior that the people want to take into account, if I have to make use of the users if I have to make use of the subscriber or the contacts behavior in a good way, and if I have to send them if I have to send them emails which are completely meaningful for them, then I have to take into account that I'm sending out emails to people who are actually interested to receive emails, who are actually interested to receive newsletters from me. So this form of workflows as a form of automation will help you manage contacts with whom you are going to talk to, or to whom you are going to send out emails to externally. So we have seen internal management with the help of calendar, with the help of campaign policies, and also with the help of roles and privileges, how you can achieve that. And with the help of workflows, you can definitely take it into account that you can send out meaningful email campaigns for better engagement. Now that we have talked about engagement, I think we are left with the topic of evaluation, which is also a very important topic. And we will look into evaluation next, and it will talk more about it.
Yes. So right now, most of the marketers, they would be sending emails, and only a few of them would take some time to take a look at the reports and then analyze the reports and then plan for the future email campaigns. This is an important step that you should do in your email marketing journey, because this is where you can understand if at all your emails are getting a good number of response rate, and things like that. If at all people are expecting your emails, or if you have to change any strategies, do you have to do that? All these questions would get answers if you take a look at the analysis of your email campaigns. So Zoho Campaigns gives you the metrics that you need to see how your campaigns are performing. I mean, you can get immediate results of the performance of your email campaigns. So these insights will help you market smarter, and will also give you an advantage of better understanding. I mean, as I said before, it will help you to understand the needs of your customer base. So we'll first look into the key performing indicators, and then we'll see how website visitors, how we'll get website visitors from email campaigns, and we'll also go into advanced reports. So we'll first see key performance indicators. These include open rates, click-through rates, bounces, unsubscribes, and all the recipient activities. It could be a click, or it could be in opening the email. So all these things, these are called the key performance indicators. And by taking a look at the open rate, you would get to understand if at all there are any inactive contacts. You would see if at all they're opening the emails or not, and then you can take you can download that list of people who have not who have not interacted with you, and then you can start sending them another set of emails asking them as to like why, or if they have to move from the email list, things like that. You can always speak to them and bring them back. So that's how the key performance indicators would help you in bringing about a change in your email marketing strategy. And moving on, we have analytics. So this is what this is how the reports would look into Zoho Campaigns. So here you can see the number of emails that get delivered, the bounces, all the the key performing indicators. All those are available with the help of Zoho Campaigns' report tab. Yes, and moving on to the analytics part of it. I mean, getting the website customers, website visitors list. So in Zoho Campaigns, you can integrate your account with Zoho Analytics as well as Google Analytics. This will help you to track the number of visitors to your website from your email campaign. So once you integrate your Zoho Campaigns account with your Google Analytics or your Zoho Analytics account, you can view all these activities of whether they have visited your page, which page they have visited, and all these details about all the details about whatever your recipient did. All those things you can get it in your Zoho Campaigns account itself. So you don't have to separately log into your in your Google Analytics account or your Zoho Analytics account to see it. All these reports, you would be getting it inside your Zoho Campaigns account. There is certainly a need for you to monitor the performance of your email campaigns in a more advanced way. So that is why Zoho Campaigns bring to you advanced reports. And with the number of campaigns you sent increasing day by day, there is certainly a need for you to monitor the performance of the email campaigns in a more advanced way. So that's why Zoho Campaigns brings you to advanced reports that facilitate you with insights on top 5 campaigns recently sent. And also it gives a yearly statistics. That is, it gives you a campaign-based reports where it lets you view the reports of your recently sent campaigns, the most responded campaigns based on the opens, clicks, and also the links that are attached. This is applicable for list as well. So you can get list-based reports as well as campaigns-based reports. And it also includes data or details like the opens by location and opens by time and the campaign reach metrics. So all these things you can get it in the advanced report session of Zoho Campaigns. And moreover, you can conduct various activities using reports like sharing your reports with other users or sharing your reports on social media. So if any of your email campaigns performed very well, then you can share the news with your fellow email marketers. You can share the reports and tell them that this is how it worked for us, things like that. You can also send it to your customers, informing them about the happy news that your campaign performed well. And these emails, ideally these are sent to your customers, and they would also understand that you are also taking a look at the reports in order to see in order to send out the best email campaigns to them. So by doing all these things, you are building a better relationship with your customers. So that's what analyzing reports can help you So that's about analyzing the reports. So now let's take a quick glance through what we saw today. If you are having any other questions, please write to us at support@zohocampaigns.com, or you can contact Sushmit at sushmit.s@zohocorp.com. You can also write to me at annette.m@zohocorp.com. So we are all here to help you out with the answers. And yeah, we hope this webinar helped you. So on the screen, you can find our social media channels. So we would be happy if you could share your comments or your feedback with regard to this webinar, or with regard to the product. If you would like to see, if you'd like to share something, please do it, and we'd be happy to talk to you and get to know your comments or your feedback about the product so that we can improve it better. Thank you all so much for joining the webinar.
Thank you for joining the webinar. Have a good day.